Hello people! In this video we are going to talk about how to add and subtract complex numbers. So yesterday we talked about what a complex number is, and we talked about being in the form a plus bi, where a is your real part and b is your imaginary part of the complex number. So to add two complex numbers, and let's go orange. So all we're going to do when you have two complex numbers, we'll say a plus bi is a complex number, and then we'll say c plus di is another complex number. If you're adding them together, and the same thing will go for subtracting, all you're going to do is you're going to add together the real parts, and then add together the complex parts, and then the sum you just simplify, and that'll be your sum of the two complex numbers. So if you have a plus bi, that complex number, plus c plus di, that complex number, you're going to do a plus c, add the real parts, and then you're going to have plus, and you're going to add the imaginary parts, so b plus d, and then of course there'll be the I there as well. And if you're subtracting, it's the same concept, except instead of adding the real and imaginary parts, you are going to subtract. So let's say we'll use the same variables. So you have a plus bi, and now you're subtracting c plus di. You will do a minus c, and you're going to end up with plus b minus d, and you're going to have that I at the end. So either add or subtract the real parts, add or subtract the imaginary parts, and then you will have your complex number in the end. So let's go ahead and do a few examples of these so you can see this in action, then you can try some on your own. So our first example, we have the complex number 4 minus I plus the complex number 6 plus 4i. We're adding them together, so take your real parts, 4 plus 6. Now I'm going to show it out here. Here's your 4 plus 6, and we're going to end up with, well, your imaginary parts are negative 1 plus 4. So when you add these two complex numbers, the sum is going to be 10 plus 3i. Add the real parts, add the imaginary parts, there's your complex number. So that was the first one. Our second one we'll do right here in green. We have 12 plus 3i. So your real part's 12, your imaginary part's 3, and you're subtracting 2 plus 7i. Whoops. So go ahead and subtract your real parts, 12 minus 2, and then you're going to subtract your imaginary parts, 3 minus 7, you're going to have that I at the end. 12 minus 2 is 10. You'll have plus 3 minus 7, which is negative 4, so plus negative 4. I'm just going to write minus 4. You have the I there because it's the imaginary part. So your real part's 10, your imaginary part is negative 4. So 10 minus 4i. And just like that, you have subtracted the two complex numbers. Our next one, we have 8 minus 2i, and we are subtracting the complex number 8 plus 3i. So go ahead and do 8 minus 8. And then we're going to end up with negative 2 plus 3. 8 minus 8 is 0, so I'm not going to write the 0. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1, so you just get I. So this is a purely imaginary number, with the imaginary part being 1, so your answer is just I. And lastly, we have, do it right here, 1 minus 6i. We are adding 7 minus 2i. So we're adding, so let's go ahead and do 1 plus 7. And then we're going to end up with negative 6. You're adding negative 2, so plus negative 2. Have that I at the end. 1 plus 7 is 8. Negative 6 plus negative 2 is negative 8, so minus 8. And you'll have the I. So your real part is 8, and your imaginary part is negative 8. And this is the sum of those two complex numbers. Alright, so go ahead and practice a few of these on your own. There's really not much to them besides what you've seen here for adding and subtracting the complex numbers. Alright guys, have a nice day.